Hello friends, it's Christy Marcotte. Today I'm sharing some cards I made using Paper Rose's Enchanted Garden 6x6 paper collection. The colors in this collection are so beautiful. There are several different sheets that have cut-aparts, including sentiments. So I'll just flip through these so you can get an idea of everything that's included. These are all double-sided. I'll flip over the paper so you can see the other 6 beautiful designs. There are 12 different patterns included in the paper collection and a total of 18 sheets. I will have links provided in the description box if you are interested in any of the products I use in this video. Paper Rose is located in Australia and they ship their products internationally, but you can also purchase them here in the US, and I do have links for both locations. Let's go ahead and get started with card design number 1. I've already stamped out the sentiment Smile. This is included on Paper Rose's Smile Mini 2x4 stamp set. I use Catherine Pooler's Juniper Mist Ink color. It matches perfectly with the blues in this collection. I stamped the sentiment on a stitched oval die cut, put some liquid adhesive on the back, and I do have the very right side of the oval going off the paper. Just flip over this panel and trim off the extra. That way it's flush to the right side. I'll be layering the pattern paper on some silver shimmer cardstock and then again on some dark blue cardstock. Overall, this is a very simple card design. That background paper is beautiful. I love that I didn't have to do all that work. Somebody else did it for me. Put my card front onto a card base. Then to finish off the card, I'm adding a couple of stitched stars using some blue satin mirror cardstock. Put 2 of them in the upper left-hand corner and 1 underneath the sentiment to the right. I did place an acrylic block on top of those 2 stars just for that extra weight while the glue dries. So there is my finished card, and I did make 2 using this design. I decided to keep the cards nice and flat. That way I don't have to pay any extra postage if I mail out the cards. For card design number 2, I have 2 different pattern papers. I love the sheet that had 9 of these watercolor sort of circle square blotches. There's also a little bit of gold splatter on each of those squares. Layered that piece on some blue cardstock. And for the background, I have a light peach cardstock that has a linen texture. Added this strip of pattern paper that has gold and pink streaks on it. It's really pretty. It almost looks like glitter, but all of this paper is very smooth. There's no glitter. I layered that panel on some satin rose colored cardstock, and you might have noticed I do have some letters cut out of the background. I will be using those here in a moment. First, I'll attach this square panel. I did put some scrap pattern paper pieces on the very right and left just to keep everything at the same level. Trying to make sure to get it nice and straight. Put some ATG tape on the back and adhere my card front onto a card base. And I will be leaving that 1/8 of an inch of the white card base showing. All of my cards in this video are American Standard A2 size. I cut out the sentiment Smile using the outlined alphabet die set by Paper Rose. It has 2 different pieces. You can pop out the center of the letters, but I decided to keep them together. I have some double-sided tape on the back to make sure those will stay together. I'm placing them on the card, trying to get everything lined up and straight. Then I'll remove the release paper on the back side. And I did speed up this portion quite a bit. Just me trying to get everything lined up and straight. This is another card I decided to keep nice and flat, but adding that specialty paper really adds a nice touch to the card. So 1 final letter, and I know there are techniques to help get all your letters lined up when you're adhering a word, but I generally just eyeball it. To finish off the card, I'll add a couple of mini heart peel-offs in the upper right-hand corner. Decided just to go with the white color. So there is my finished card, and again I did make 2 using this design. I've been so busy making Christmas cards lately, it was a really nice change to have some non-Christmas themed cards. For card design number 3, one of the pattern papers has this beautiful blue floral design all over the background. So I did cut this panel down to 5 1/4 inches by 4 inches, layered it on some dark blue cardstock, And just to add a little extra detail to this card, I'm using some gold moon dust peel-offs and putting them all along the very outside edge of the card. And these are made by Love from Lizi. I'm using the narrowest width. I do have the ends going off the edge of the paper, but I will be cutting those off here in a moment. So once I have all 4 pieces, I'll grab my craft knife and I'll miter the corners together. So I'm just pressing the tip of the knife into the corner. Then I'll remove those little scrap pieces. And this will create a beautiful thin gold frame all along the outside of the pattern paper. The gold color of the peel-offs match beautifully with the gold on the pattern paper. So once I have all of those corners finished, I'll put my card front onto a card base. For the sentiment on the card, I'll be using one of the cut-aparts that's included in the paper collection. Decided to make a couple of happy birthday cards. I did put some thin foam dimension on the back side. So even with that foam dimension, this is still a fairly flat card. Just adhere that in the lower left-hand corner. And just for a little extra sparkle, I'm using Nuvo glitter drops. This is the Gold Coast color. Placing a drop on top of all those little gold speckle pieces that are on the pattern paper. So they already look like glitter, but now I'm adding just that tiny drop of glitter on top of them. So there is my finished card, and again, I did make 2 using this design. That background paper is just beautiful. It really didn't need a lot of extra detail. For card design number 4, I'm using a card sketch for inspiration. This is Sugar Pea Designs Sugar Sketch number 8. I'm using 2 different pattern papers, beautiful floral design on a dark blue background, and also a wood panel design. I cut a fishtail on the left side of the wood panel piece. And I'm rounding the corners just on the left side of that floral pattern, following this sketch fairly closely. I'll layer that floral paper on some dark blue cardstock. With the background paper, I have a light peach cardstock with that linen texture. It's the same one I used on a previous card. And I'll layer all of it on that same dark blue cardstock. The background paper is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, so that background blue piece is an additional 1/4 of an inch. Before adhering the wood panel banner piece, I will add those scrap cardstock pieces. So putting just a small sliver on the right side and then a little larger piece on the left side. It helps to flip over the panel to make sure I have the right size scrap cardstock pieces. And I will need to add 2 layers to get everything at the same level. I'll put some liquid adhesive on the back and adhere this piece onto the card. For the sentiment on the card, I'll be using some more of the cut-aparts. I have the word beautiful and smile. Those work nicely together. Decided to put them both at an angle, and I will be popping them up using some thin foam squares. On the right side of the card, I'm adding a little branch, and this is from the little Foliage 2 die set. And I cut this out of some blue satin mirror cardstock. When I'm adding the foam dimension to the back of the word smile, I made sure to leave a little gap for the end of the branch. That way it'll just tuck right in and won't add any extra lump on the front of the card. Of course, then I attached the word at the wrong angle. So luckily I was able to remove that and fix it. I'll remove the release paper on the word beautiful, and I also left some of that foam dimension off from the very lower right hand corner since I knew it would be going on top of the word smile. In the lower left hand corner underneath the word beautiful, I'm adding a small flower, and this is the Alana Flower die set. I used just the 2 smallest sizes. I'll put a small piece of bling in the center of the flower and also 3 small pieces in the upper left hand corner. It's a really pretty pearl color that has a little bit of an iridescent look to it. The bling does have adhesive on the back, but I like to add some liquid adhesive just to make sure they won't fall off later. And there is my finished card. I love how this one turned out. It's definitely my favorite. But do let me know which card is your favorite. Now moving on to my final card design. One of the pattern papers has all these small cut apart images, but I decided not to cut those apart, leaving them together just for a beautiful background. Layer this piece on some dark blue cardstock. You can see I do have a heart cut out of the background. I will be using that here in a moment. I did decide to fill in that heart, so I used some scrap cardstock and cut out another one, and I'm just putting all of those pieces together. And this is Paper Rose's Scribble Heart. Put some adhesive on the back and adhere my card front onto a card base. I will be adding some hearts and a sentiment to the front of the card, but I really don't want to cover up all that beautiful pattern paper. So instead I have a stitched oval die cut, and I cut this out of some vellum. Before attaching the oval, I will put my hearts on the front. So I cut out both sizes of the Scribble Heart. I'm laying the oval on top of the card just for placement. I made sure not to have any liquid adhesive on the edge of the heart that's going off of the oval, at least not yet. This smaller heart I cut out of some mirror cardstock. This is the Rustic Dusk color by Tonic Studios. Once I have both of my hearts attached, I'll flip over the oval, and now I can put liquid adhesive in all of the areas where the heart outlines are. That way you won't be able to see it through the vellum. I can place my oval onto my card, and since most of the areas do have some glue, those edges of the oval won't really lift up. For the sentiment, I'm using another cut apart that's included in the paper collection. This is Best Wishes. I did cut a fishtail on the left side. I'll be placing the sentiment on top of both of the hearts. So I want to keep everything at the same level, adding some of those small scrap cardstock pieces. I'll put liquid adhesive on the back and attach it to the card. Once the sentiment is adhered, I decided to lift up that oval just very gently and place a drop of liquid adhesive underneath the word best. Doesn't hurt to have a little more glue to make sure that oval will stay in place. Then to finish up the card, I added a few pieces of blue bling. So there's my finished card, and again, I did make two using this design. Now here's another look at the 10 cards I made using Paper Rose's Enchanted Garden paper collection. This paper collection is beautiful. I love the peach and blue colors. They do also have it available in the 12 by 12 size, so if you prefer a larger size, that is also an option. I do have links provided in the description box if you are interested in any of the products I used in this video. Paper Rose offers a wide variety of different paper styles. There's really something for everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.